kind of cut rate production is this?
It's just about as good as realized productions.
Rinky dink.
Rinky dink. Welcome back to another episode of the All Luck No Skill podcast. I'm Chuck, and this is
Teddy.
Teddy. That's right.
In case you've forgotten what my name was.
Yes, I think we've all forgotten what your name was.
I'm not surprised.
Exactly.
Right.
At some point, you were a household face.
Yeah. And now?
On many of our TVs. And now you're just a nobody. Just somebody living under the underpass.
Washed up.
Washed up.
Been.
Yep. Yep. Just a nobody.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah. How do you say your last name, Teddy?
That's a great question, actually.
What's the question?
How I say my last name.
Oh. Go ahead.
Right. I don't know.
You don't know?
I would have to speak Vietnamese to actually know how to say it properly.
Can you speak the Vietnamese?
No, I cannot speak the Vietnamese.
So your last name is from Vietnam?
It is. Yeah. It's actually a really crazy name because it's also like a clerical error.
Oh.
So I say it in the most white way possible, which is Phu Thanh Danh. Right?
Do you say that?
I say that. That's what I say. Like, howdy, partner. My name's Teddy Phu Thanh Danh. But there's actually like some super Vietnamese way to say it, which also varies from what region of Vietnam you're from. I don't even know what region. Actually, that's not true. So my grandpa's from Saigon.
Okay.
Right. Formerly Ho Chi Minh City.
Yep.
Rest in peace. Anyway, so what's crazy is that my grandfather's full first, middle, and last name is Phu Thanh Danh.
But the way that you spell it here, there's spaces in between. It's not that way.
It is because it's three different names. His first name is Don.
Oh.
That's his first name.
Which is at the end of your last name.
Right. Because just like in Japan over there, you say your family name first and then your name last.
Okay.
Because you're less important than your family. Or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right,
like your family comes first and then like you, the individual, come last.
Sure.
So his name is Don. And then his middle and last name is Phu Thanh. And I'm not saying that correct, but his first name is Don.
Okay.
Like your name is Charles.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
So my last name is like completely incorrect because he had my dad in France, like a total small rural town population, like 200.
Yeah.
And so when they were filling out the paperwork, someone screwed it up at some point. And instead of making my dad's last name just Phu, it became Phu Thanh Danh.
Oh, crazy.
So it's like my last name is 1 second. Oh, you're not even
Okay, and we're back.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so why was your Vietnamese grandpa in France?
He fled from Saigon during the 50s.
Right.
Crazy story that I don't fully know the story, but a bunch of his like siblings were killed while they were fleeing. And he ended up in some like small rural town in France. And
that's crazy.
Married a white lady.
Oh.
School teacher.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, somewhere along the line when they did the paperwork for my dad's last name, it was like totally butchered.
Right.
So it's like my last, I'm like Teddy Joseph Gordon-Levitt, basically.
Your mom is also French, though.
My mom is French.
But completely, she is 100% French.
White. Yes, highly.
Yeah. But she's like from France.
She's,
You're first generation.
Yes, I am first generation.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We love her. Track mom.
We do. Yeah, Z-Mom.
Dom the mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Boy, so many days where we would have track events and barbecues. And
she fed everyone.
Yeah. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are good times.
They were good times. She also kind of bailed me out at T-Spot.
I remember
the time that I crashed.
I remember that.
The police came.
Of course you crashed.
And of course, naturally. And then my mom bailed me out. From
some punk ass 18-year-old kid drifting his car at some street spot on a rainy night.
And it was a dry night.
Was it dry?
It was dry. It was not raining that night. And I totally ran my car into the curb like full speed. Car was undrivable. Police showed up and my mom was like, we weren't drifting. We were just hanging out. And the cop was like, all right, well, get out of here. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, like,
oh, those are the days.
Totally got saved from getting a ticket.
Crazy.
And maybe impounded and like
Yeah.
getting the book thrown at me.
Yeah.
So
Well, before we go any further, we all know that you have an R32 Skyline. The fuck is this?
yeah, well, I didn't know the car was going to be a part of the backdrop, so I brought my
Even if you did, would you have brought
daily-
your? Would
No.
you have? No.
No,
So it doesn't
definitely not.
matter. So
Definitely
don't make
not.
up
Well,
some excuse.
Maybe I would have made the effort.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
It's too much of a pain.
That's a pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
I gotta like trailer it here, and that's like
too
unload it just to put it back
Too
here.
much.
So no, I have my daily, which is the tow rig. You know, my
This thing is a tow rig. It's
is
crazy how in
my
Europe
mom
this is
car.
the tow rig.
totally.
Yeah, people don't tow out here with this thing though.
No, it's rare, but it actually is becoming more common.
I think so.
Yeah, you
I see
see
a lot.
more-
Yeah, you see a lot of Porsche guys towing with Cayennes and stuff. Kind of cool.
Yeah,
BMW guys towing with X5s.
yeah, and it's diesel, so you know,
that's cool.
It's got plenty of torque.
That's cool.
Yeah, and people actually tow enclosed trailers with these too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds dangerous. Like on a windy day.
Probably not legit, but they do it.
They should be going 55.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But people are definitely doing it.
People that tow with X5s or Cayennes, they're going 80.
That's me. 100%. It's pretty stable. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, until it's not.
Until it's not. But
it's
until then, totally is.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it airbags in the back?
Airbags in the back. So it's self-leveling.
Okay.
So it has no squat.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's great.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never popped or leaked or anything.
When I got the car, it was like slammed because the bags were toast. But the bag replacement is really easy.
Even an idiot can do it.
Even an idiot like myself can do it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So bag replacement was very simple, both sides, and they've been holding up ever since. So that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, and the crazy thing too is like, so I tow my trailer with it, and the hitch on the back is actually removable.
Okay.
And so it just clicks into place. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh.
It's like an Invisi hitch, so it actually when I
so
don't have the hitch,
so you
I
don't have to
pull it
cut
out.
the.
Yeah, and it's actually just like a little, I don't know what you would call like a post, and it actually there's a hole on the hitch part, and then like the hitch just goes up in the hole and clicks into place, and all that weight somehow
Is on a downward
is
force.
on a downward, but it locks into place.
With what?
I don't know.
There's no. You don't have a. There's no pin.
Magic. There's a pin and there's a key. You like lock it with the key, but it works. It's never come
That's kind of
come undone before.
So most balls you go into the hitch, the square for those that don't know, and then you put a metal pin through it.
Correct.
Yours is like a U, like a fish hook that goes under the valance so that you don't have to cut it.
Correct.
So all for aesthetic purposes, you go up and then you click it up into it.
Into it, exactly.
So the tongue weight is
Pushing down on it.
sick.
Correct.
How have you not lost your car yet?
It's a great question. It's a good design.
insane. It
Clearly.
works, huh?
Yeah. I wish I had it with me. I would pull it out.
Right,
But I
that'd
don't
be-
have it with me.
Oh gosh, that's
But,
crazy.
yeah. It is actually a very like ingenious design.
Really? But the rest of the hitch, it bolts onto the frame just like any other hitch.
Right, exactly. That's like like it bolts on, but the actual hitch part that has the ball is removable.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That's cool.
I wish I had it. I would bust it out because it is pretty cool. But
Right.
it hasn't.
No.
It lock. I mean, it lock. It's like you hear it click into place, and then you lock it in place.
Oh, so it's not even like you don't put a pin in.
Absolutely not. You literally hear it click.
That's
and then,
it?
And then you push the key thing in, and that's it. You're done.
Is it like a ball? You know,
It's-
where like it clicks in and it's tension until it
Right.
goes.
There's some tension in there. Something that it gets released when it meets the thing. It works. I've towed with it. I've lost my trailer before.
You
but
have?
not from this hitch.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah.
You've lost your trailer before?
Oh, absolutely.
What
Yeah,
truck
it's
were
come
you?
off. That was actually with Devin.
Oh,
great.
Silverado.
Yeah. Yeah, Devin didn't put the lock on the tongue.
No.
And
of course,
so
Devin.
this is
Shout out to Devin.
Shout out to Devin, my boy Devin.
yeah.
It was a great time actually, but I had just bought the trailer and we were driving it back.
Oh, empty.
Yeah, empty.
The
then
chains were on.
The chains were on,
God.
and there's the only thing holding the trailer on the
Jesus
freeway.
Christ.
It was great. And then
And then he slammed on the brakes.
right,
I'm
trying to come
guessing.
to a stop with a trailer that's not on the ball. Like, doesn't matter how slow, but the messed up part is that we were getting to like a fork in the freeway where you
Yeah.
had to go left or right.
Yeah.
And so we ended up stopping at the fork and just got rear-ended by the trailer. And it was even worse because the trailer actually went underneath the truck and got wedged.
Oh.
So then AAA had to come now with a jack to get the truck up off the trailer, pull the trailer off
God.
while there's traffic like diverging there at the fork. It was great.
That's some Devin ass shit.
That being said, the trailer's never come off from this hitch design. So
wow,
it's definitely
just don't let Devin hitch up.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know that it was his fault, but we were together, and I'm pretty sure he's the one that put
you
it
and
on
him,
the ball.
you and him don't.
It's a disaster. Us together, yeah.
There's other stories about him, right?
He's like, yeah.
The transmission thing with your mom's truck.
The transmission thing was unlucky. We were just like young and dumb. I'm still dumb. I'm just old now. But
right.
Yeah. But
well, didn't he like?
I played a prank on him on his truck, and when we got to the stop sign, when we came to a stop, I put it in park. So when he gassed it, we weren't going anywhere.
Okay.
He pulled the same prank on me, but we were actually in motion.
No.
And so when he put it in park, we just heard. That was the end of that transmission.
Blew the transmission? Oh
totally.
My God. But then, okay, there was another time, which I don't know fully about, where you had to pull over on the way to track and you were like, oh, my Skyline was hanging halfway off the truck.
Yeah, I was with my mom that time. Okay. That was just me. That was like, I'll take the fall for that one.
You did not strap it down?
I think like I strapped it down, and I think like it must have like, it wasn't tight or something, you know what I mean? And like, I think a bump came and it got unhooked on one side. And it was the front strap. Oh, and so the car rolled off the trailer, but the back strap was now holding tension in the other direction.
Right. No.
You know, and keeping it from falling off, but the back wheels had pretty much come off because like the straps were going to the subframe.
Right.
So it had rolled back. So you know what I mean? So the straps went from being like this to going like that.
Oh, and that was holding the That's what was
holding it on backwards now.
No way.
But like the back wheels were off the trailer.
I can't believe that.
There's no engine in it too. So how do you get the car back on? Just my mom and I.
What'd you guys do?
People pulled over and helped us push it back on.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I think we were like on the way to the paint shop, or it had just been painted, or something like that. I
thought that was on the way to the track.
No. There was no engine in it.
Oh.
So I couldn't drive it back on.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was just the shell.
Do you remember your first car?
Yeah.
What was that?
The Datsun.
Really? Yeah. That was your first car?
That was my first car that I drove. My dad bought a car. So we had gone to like Drift Day 2000.
Hold on. The Datsun 510, the one with the Tenzo R seats.
Yes.
We'll put a photo of that right here. Yeah, I'm sure you have a bunch of photos of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the first car that I like drove. My dad like bought a 240 when we were going to like watch Drift Day and we're like wanted to get into it.
Okay.
So at the time I was like, I don't know, 13 or something. He bought a car for it to be like a project for us. So that would have been in like 2004 or so. He bought like an SR 240 hatch.
Okay.
That had some gremlins or whatever that never really got worked out. So that car never actually like drove.
Right.
I drove it up and down the street a couple times, but it had problems. But the first car that I actually like bought and drove around was this Datsun.
How old were you?
16.
16?
Yeah. So that car actually came about through MySpace. I had a guy like message me out of the blue. We had been talking a little bit, just MySpace, like chit-chatting or whatever about cars. And he's like, hey, I actually have this car. He worked at a tow yard. And I don't know how he came across this car, but he was like, I basically have this car. Do you know anybody that's interested?
Yeah.
It was a Datsun 510 coupe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm interested. Actually, the thing's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it had an LB20 in it that was like stroked 2.2 liter. And he wanted $4,200 for it. Oh. So I was like,
but back then, that was maybe what it was going for, give or take.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I actually borrowed money from Devin to buy it.
Your best bud.
My best bud. I borrowed money from Devin to buy it and showed up to check it out at night, which is the perfect time to look at a new car that you're going to buy.
Absolutely. Best time.
And then drove it home, not really knowing how to drive stick.
Oh, shit.
And the clutch was super stiff on it.
At 16?
Yeah.
So you're like in 10th grade or something?
Yeah.
11th grade?
Yeah.
Nuts.
Bought it at night, like at 9 p.m. or something like that, 10 p.m.
Right.
And then at the time, like I didn't know that you could put the car in neutral. So every time I got to the light, I had to keep my foot on the clutch.
You're such an idiot.
And the clutch was so stiff, my foot was dying, dude. I didn't know you could put it in neutral.
What an idiot.
But dude, I felt so cool. You know, it was like the thing was loud. Yeah. It was awesome. It's not a Camry or something. You know, it was like something super sick.
Right.
Got stolen 3 months later.
Oh, you only had that thing for 3 months?
Maybe 3-4 months. Nah, I didn't even make it to 6 months, I think, in that thing.
That car came with the Tenzo seats, right?
Someone just died right now.
Someone literally just died right now. I don't know if the mics picked that up, but holy shit.
Someone just died. It came with the Tenzo R seats.
I remember we were already friends then.
Yes, because I was like on Nico Club already. I think like
because that's where I saw it. Because you're a little bit younger than me, but we had met when you were still in high school.
Yeah, so I was going to the meets beforehand with my buddy who had his license.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I didn't have a license yet.
Yeah.
So he was but he was in a Sentra SER. So like
Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Dave Hoover.
So we were going to the meets before I had my license. Then I got my license.
Right.
And then
I remember you
I took that
posting on
thing to every meet
Nico
that
Club.
I could. Yeah. So I went to that Nico Club Bolsa Chica Beach Barbecue Day or whatever. And like Jackson was there. Right. Nico was there. You were there. Right. Gina, Denise,
back in the day.
Seto, Crazy Rob. Dude, everybody was there that day. It was crazy.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh man, that unlocked a weird memory.
Yeah. Gina drove Gary's car there.
Yeah.
I didn't know about Gary, so I was like, damn, this chick's got like a sick ass car.
Yeah. Like, oh, then she's down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then there was that Ryota?
Ryota was there.
What's he up to? I
don't know actually. I think he has like a Civic.
Oh really?
He had an S2000.
And then they did like they made like that GIF of me and him. Yes, we just happened to be. We were just so chatting. Funny, dude. I don't know if we can. I don't know if you can find it, but if we can, we'll just put it in the bottom.
Probably not, because it was on Nico and like that's gone and defunct now. So. Yeah, I don't know. But that was actually, it's funny you remember that.
Oh god, that was crazy. Jeez. Oh, so it got stolen?
He got stolen. It was an interesting story actually, because I didn't really know how to work on it. This guy was kind of like, he lived in Torrance also, and he seemed like a nice guy. Like he was kind of mentoring me on like working on stuff or whatever, which is cool.
Okay.
And
who's this guy?
He was the guy that I bought the car from, actually. Okay. And so he knew stuff about it, I guess. I don't know. It was all kind of sketchy, honestly, but the car was having like a clutch issue. Okay. And I had already bled the clutch, and at that point I think it needed a new master or something like that. Okay. Something I didn't really know how to do. And he was like, "Oh, drop it off at my buddy's house in Echo Park," which at the time was actually a sketchy neighborhood.
Well, right. The Echo Park is all gentrified, mostly gentrified now.
Now it's nice.
Wait, but hold on. This is the guy that you purchased the car from, from the tow yard.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, take it to my buddy."
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's like, "Take it to my buddy." And actually, the reason that it ended up there is because I had driven it up to LA and got stranded there. Like basically, I had no play left in the clutch pedal, and so I couldn't get it home. Gotcha. And he was like, "Well, if you can basically get it towed over to my friend's house, he can get it, give him some cash and he'll put a new master on it and you can come pick it up." Okay. I never saw it again after that.
Get out of here. Right. Seriously?
Yeah, I never saw it again after that. Yeah. I dropped the car off. I left the key in his mailbox. It was at his house. Okay. At his house. Parked it on the street, dropped the key in his mailbox.
Never saw who it was or anything?
Nope. Could have been a random house, honestly. Oh. He just gave me the address and I put the key in the mailbox and that was it.
And did you hear from the guy again?
Yeah, totally. He just gave me the runaround for weeks till he was finally like, "Hey man, so your car actually got stolen."
Oh.
Yeah. It's tight.
But it could have been back in his tow yard.
Totally.
Like he could have been, maybe there was no person at all that was going to help him fix it.
Correct. I don't know. I don't know for sure what happened. All I know is I dropped the car off at the house, put the keys in the mailbox.
That was it.
And I never saw the car again.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And he just claims like, "Hey man, so the car got stolen from out." But it's like, I can't prove that didn't happen. But also it just seems a little
sketchy.
A little shady, but.
What was the house like? The house was
just like a random dude. It was like a block away from Toretto's house. In Echo Park.
And you parked in the driveway?
I parked on the street. Yeah. So I don't know, but the car's gone, and that's that car, like basically getting stolen is kind of what got me getting a 240, which is then I started going to like Suzuki drifts and stuff.
And you never saw the car again, never resurfaced. You did like a police thing,
police report, the whole deal.
Insurance paid you out?
Yeah, I got insurance for it, so it was fine. So that ended up paying for a new 240. And I bought like a Sylvia front with that money also.
Is that the maroon one you had or the red one? Oh, the maroon one. Yeah, it was the maroon one. Okay.
Which I bought from a guy. It was one of Jackson's. Little Jack's friends.
Little Jack. I remember that car before it was yours and I was like, oh. And then all of a sudden you had it. Right. I was like, oh. And it had those weird like ugly like five-spoke really weird wheels that I kept as drift spares for a minute. Oh, right. Yeah.
I had to go with Sport Max, Sport Max.
Of course you did. Yeah. Yep. And I specifically remember you posted a picture at some fucking mattress parking lot. That was great. And it was like the car.
So clever.
But the building was glass, and you were sitting on the other side of the car.
Very dramatic, like
super dramatic.
So clever. Dude.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
I'm just a great photographer.
Can you stop patting yourself on the back? It was so whack.
Come on, it was
we'll see if you find it. We'll put it at the. Of course you have it. Of course you have it. Okay, crazy.
It's still my MySpace profile photo.
And is that is MySpace still up?
No, definitely not.
MySpace is no longer.
It might still be. It might still be a thing.
Am I in your top 8?
I don't know, man.
I better be.
You used to be.
Huh?
What?
Huh.
Maybe.
Okay.
But I had a hack to make it a top 16. So definitely in the 16.
Hack to make it top. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So was that the car that we ended up spray painting teal?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the car. Like, that was the car.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you got another one that was the red hatch.
Right. I got it. Well,
you got that on some grandma or something.
Yeah, once my car made it to, like, it was crazy and I gutted it.
Yeah.
It was SR, straight pipe.
Oh, that's the one that you spray painted the inside white and your whole face was.
Oh my God.
That we're putting in here.
Oh my God.
Insane.
So,
how are you still alive from that?
I got carried away and I was like, I want to paint the interior. I want to, like, get all the sound deadening out.
Yeah.
Clean it all. I want, like, an all white. I saw someone do it on Zilby or something. And I was like, that looks so sick. I need my car to be like that.
Right.
So pulled everything out and I just, like, got a whole, like, box of white rattle can. Yeah. God. And I just, like, went to town and, like, I started feeling kind of weird. And by the time I, like, got out of the car, my mom came and took a picture of me because, like, I literally was white. Like, all the overspray was, like, on me. Yeah. My nose hairs were white. Like,
no mask.
No mask. I actually got a sinus infection.
Way before COVID. Oh,
I got a sinus infection from it.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Serves you right.
Yeah, it was bad.
Good.
Yeah, no ventilation.
Good.
No nothing. The interior looks sick, though.
Oh, God. And it's so funny how it was all of a sudden, it was like, no, I got put full interior with a cage back, blah, blah, blah. No one gave a totally, and it was whack now if you had a gutted car.
Yeah, it's so funny. But that was the thing at the time. That was like one of the cheap mods you could do.
Right.
You know, just ruin your car.
Exactly.
Completely ruin it. And then, like, try to piece together an S13 interior once you've thrown it all away.
Not anymore.
It's impossible.
Yeah, impossible. Especially now.
Yeah.
But back then it's like,
trash.
Why would we need any of this anymore?
Finding the panels was still hard back then.
But the thing is, you could find a 240 or 2 at a junkyard and be like, if it hasn't been eaten apart by vultures, you could go and get some stuff off. But now it's like, you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that was that car. I did have another car in between. I bought a car from Otis. Did you know that?
Otis.
I bought a car from Otis Dixon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You did?
I did.
What did you buy?
I bought another S13 coupe from him with a Sylvia front. It was a shell. I didn't have it for very long. Oh. But I did buy it from Otis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was gonna put the SR in that, and then I ended up getting the maroon car instead.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you sold that?
Yeah, I sold it. I mean, I didn't have it for very long, but
Yeah. Oh, I did not know that.
I bought it from Otis. That's my first interaction with Otis.
Oh, crazy. Yeah. That was back when he used to be at Adams and RB Performance and stuff like that.
This might have even been before that because he said that he had the car from Drift Speed or something, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't really know.
From Quack.
From probably Quack.
Something like that.
Something
maybe.
Like that.
Yeah. That's cool.
So yeah, and then the maroon car became the car. And then after the teal car became like this crazy monstrosity, I had to get a daily. So why get a Honda Civic when you can get another 240?
What better daily than another
Absolutely,
240?
that you're going to keep stock until you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
And then you just run into more problems. Although the engine was bone stock in that. So it was actually fairly reliable.
Yeah.
Mechanically, it was pretty good.
I remember for a while when you started in the whole Hollywood, whatever industry, the film industry that you do, I remember you would just show up to work with that, with all your gear stuffed in the back.
Yeah, because it was a hatch. I could fit like my work cart in there. All my stuff would fit in there.
Right.
At the expense of like, I did do a job one time at a place called Big Sky Ranch, which is like it's actually around
Santa
here.
Clarita?
I think it's Simi Valley or Santa Clarita in this area or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was an early call time, like 5 a.m. call before the sun came up.
Yeah.
I showed up in the 240 and it's like one way in, one way out into this place, like a small road.
Dirt?
It's not dirt. It does turn into dirt, but the main road to get in has a speed bump.
Oh.
And I showed up to work early.
Yeah.
And I got stuck on the speed bump.
Speed bump.
And I blocked everybody from getting into the chute.
Oh,
because I was stuck on the speed bump in my 240.
So all the production trucks,
So embarrassing.
all the
Everybody. I had to get people to come sit on the trunk while I try to
Yeah.
get it loose from the speed bump. Like it was really.
You don't get fired from something like that for causing that?
No. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know that I ever got called back by those people. So I guess I kind of got fired, but yeah. After that, it was like, and then it's like, then I'd get pulled over on the way to work and show up late when people are like depending on me. And it was like, just couldn't do it anymore. Like needed something that was not a complete dickhead car.
Right. But when you're a kid, it's like, oh yeah, that's so cool. I'm going to daily this,
so
blah, blah,
sick.
blah.
I'm never going to have a normal car.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Until people are depending on you.
Right. And you're depending on it to get you there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. So it was nice while it lasted, but it was dumped, and aero and like all that crazy stuff. But it was stock, so it's like if I ever got pulled over, I couldn't get reffed. Stock airbox KA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So.
How are your parents?
I don't
know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. How are they?
No. Where you go, what the fuck's that mean?
What do you mean? How my parents? Yeah, they're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your parents still together?
My parents are not together.
Oh.
But my dad was just at Bonneville Speed Week with a team out there for running a race bike in the 100cc class.
Oh, cool.
They broke the record by 1 mile an hour.
Oh, so your dad's also into motorsports as well?
Yes. Yeah. So my dad does brakes for like racing bikes. So it's called Behringer brakes.
Oh, okay.
So they'll do like Supermoto. They did Superbike for a while. Now they do like baggers. Have you heard of baggers?
No.
They're like, it's like a new race class of basically like Harleys with the saddlebags.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but they like lay them down. The saddlebags are all made of carbon fiber and everything.
Right.
Like the bikes are like super sick.
That's cool.
So he's got a couple brakes on their bikes in the bagger series, and so he does stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. My mom used to have a business in.
Team Mulsanne.
With Team Mulsanne.
That was like an import-export.
That was actually her business.
Car parts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That both my parents kind of ran, but it was technically my mom's business.
Right. Yeah. That's how we got the initial name for our drift team.
Right. Because my dad started Mulsanne in France, and he was trying to, because France is a little bit behind on everything. Back in the day, like movies would come out a month later in France. Everything's always like a little bit behind in Europe.
Right.
And so drifting was like that too.
Right.
And so my dad was trying to ride being the first to bring drifting into France at the time, because it still wasn't really a thing.
Right.
And so he built a 240 out. It was actually a 200 SX out there.
S12?
No, it's an S13.
Oh,
but it's called 200 SX.
Oh, right.
So there's 180 SX in Japan, 240 SX here, 200 SX in Europe. Same for the S14. It's also the 200 SX.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So he built one there that they bought. Comes with the CA18. All of them come with CA18.
Mm-hmm.
The S14s do come SR. So he bought that CA18 car. He tried to run it with the CA18 for a while, but it just wasn't very powerful. So he did SR swap it.
Right.
And then he bought a car from McKinney Motorsport, which was Tanner Faust's old competition S13.
Yeah.
Shipped that to France, and that became like the demo Mulsanne team.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, well, let's do like a US version of it.
Yeah.
The logo was, kind of cool. I don't know.
That was actually the logo now in 2024.
It was not cool.
Very racist.
Very racist.
Super racist.
Definitely.
The Asian characters.
Canceled. Canceled. But back then, sick.
Anything goes.
Yeah, sick.
Fuck it.
So it's like, we'll do like the US version of it. And at the time, we were like, hey, there's really no like tandem teams like Team Burst.
Right.
And we need a cool name. There's a name. Like we got a logo. Let's just do it,
And put up a WordPress site.
Put up a word, and that's it. And the rest is history.
We were. The rest is history.
And we chose a color like teal was because nobody else had teal.
No. And it wasn't a thing to have matching color
not yet.
cars. Not at that time. Mm-hmm. Now, any old whatever, there's teams everywhere, which I think it's cool that that's the case now.
But back then, there wasn't really any.
I don't even remember I don't know if it was, maybe it was the WordPress site. Do you remember what you had said? Like,
we started with Blogspot, by the way. Mulsanne.blogspot.com.
Still up?
Probably not. I don't know if Blogspot still exists. Like, I don't know if it's still hosted.
Right. It's not like kind of like Zanga.
Yeah. And then WordPress, if you search mulsanne.wordpress.com, I believe it redirected to Realize.
Oh, right.
JP.
And it was like, the description was like America's first triple class something.
Exactly. Which there was no triple class here, but
nothing. Yeah, what the fuck is
never
that?
anything.
Just made some shit up.
It would have been triple class for
And it was me, you, and Cody, Sarum, and
Carl
Wasabi.
That's right.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's a good team, actually.
That was a good team. Chemistry was good.
Yeah, it was
especially
good.
for us just being some fucking goofballs that just fucking drifting.
Dude, it was a great time, actually, honestly.
It was sick.
And then like that kind of died a little bit. Yeah. And then we kind of like revived it with a new name. And the rest is history.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Auto Factory Realize. Right. Insane.
And we already had teal, so we just stuck to teal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just with a more fancy.
Actual
we upped it from the rattle can, which I think
that was crazy.
Carl was the first one to do it. Remember? He was just like, I just painted it teal.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
We're like, oh, he did like a terrible job.
Yeah. I remember that. I think so.
But his car was like a missile, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was one event where we were trying to make, and his car wouldn't start or wasn't working, so we used Jackson's car, and then we just we did a quick. We bought like 10 cans, and then we just made a twin car.
Yes.
Overnight, we just all took a panel and just sprayed the entire car.
That must have been for the Jimmy Up.
I think so, and that was Team Invitational Tandem series.
Yes.
Tits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the car looked terrible, but in photos, like it kind of played the part, but you could tell.
But less terrible.
Drips and everything and everywhere.
God,
it was the worst.
Your car actually came out, I think, the best out of all of them.
I did that in my garage. I tried my best to like vent it with fans and blah, blah, blah. And literally sat there. I bought the attachment for the spray can,
right.
And just sat there.
That was the key.
Yeah, tried the best. And like,
because we were all just like fingers were cramping.
And it was the Rust-Oleum 2X.
Yeah.
Jade.
So
if you guys want to,
that's the color for the Mulsanne.
Yeah.
Mulsanne teal.
Yeah, and it came out pretty good.
It came out pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
And then we did mine, and mine came out pretty decent too.
Yeah. Yours came out good as well.
I remember being pretty hyped on it when I saw it in the morning. The next day, I was like, "Yeah, dude, this thing is sick."
Right.
All one color.
Yeah.
Because it had been all different color panels forever.
Right. Yeah, and it was more than enough for drifting and good from far from good. You know,
we have that great picture that Drew took of
Fishbein
us.
Photo.
It was like Wall Stadium or whatever the entrance into the stadium.
Exactly.
It's a great picture.
Oh man, this podcast is gonna be filled with pictures.
Oh my God, yeah,
it's just a photo diary of everything that we've gone through.
Yeah, it's a great picture.
Yeah,
it
was awesome. And that thing was our banner on everything.
Totally. Yeah, it was a great shot.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You had those like super huge 18-inch
in that point,
wheels.
The Ken style locksmiths Duke or something.
God,
yeah,
I don't even know how you could spin those things with your stock SR.
I know.
Those things were so heavy.
And then Cody had the Celine reps.
Right.
And then you had your Falcon wheels. The Hanabis.
Those things were pretty cool.
Yeah.
You don't really see them anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, they died with your car.
Definitely. I had like 45 mil spacers on those things.
Oh God.
Stock fenders.
That's crazy. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then I pulled the fenders to make it look cool with a 45 mil spacer on them.
Yeah. Is All-Star Bash still a thing?
I think
don't really hear about it anymore.
It's not, it's different than when we were like glorifying All-Star Bash because it was Brian Hart was running it and it was like very invitational. And so I think now it's kind of open and it's just a big festival.
V8 Fest.
Pretty much. Just run by Charlie.
Your favorite.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Love it. Fifth gear entry.
Exactly.
Roaring V8s. Love it.
Yeah.
Handbrake entry all day.
Exactly. Yeah.
The best. So exciting.
Man. Sorry, so back to your parents real quick. How long have they not been together?
Oh, it's been, I think they separated in like 2006.
Okay.
It's been a while.
So how old were you?
I would have been 15.
Oh, kind of. Oh, really?
Yeah. Billy was like 11.
Oh, so it's not like they split up like way when you were younger or anything.
No, yeah. I mean, my mom wanted to wait. She wanted to like them to stay together while we were growing up and old enough, basically.
Gotcha.
So, which was very, respectable for sure.
That's good. Yeah. Because, I think kids need one home. They do better, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what was that about? Do you know?
Them separating?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, why do parents separate? It's like finances and stuff like that.
I see.
The usual, I think, like disagreement, finance, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
makes sense. Yeah. Gosh. Do you have any regrets in life? Biggest regret?
Try not to live with any regrets, It's like
right.
try not to look in the past and just kind of move forward.
Right.
I think.
Right.
You know.
So no.
Honestly. Yeah, because it's like
no regrets.
No regrets. I would say like I kind of regret selling my 240 to go with the Skyline. Because
your Skyline's an interesting story.
The Skyline, which we won't be getting into on this podcast.
Oh.
But the Skyline, the Skyline is what it is. Like, it's not street registered.
Right.
And
you can't.
It's like I can't. Obviously, I mean, it's like hard to like to get plates for Skylines in California in the first place.
Right.
This one really is like track only. And it's like, it kind of sucks. Like, it definitely made my life more complicated.
Right.
And like, I took like a running S13 that I was drifting actively with everybody. And then, I was like, oh, well, I want to get a Skyline. And this one is like the shiny new thing. And
back when Skylines weren't a thing. Like,
right, Skylines weren't a thing yet.
This was years ago that you got it.
And I was like, well, I have the opportunity to buy this.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that the car ran when I bought it.
With the RB20.
With an RB20.
Yeah.
And I was a ding dong, and I was like, oh, I have to have an RB25 because who wants an RB20? When in reality, RB20 would have been.
And it was RB20 turbo.
Fine. It was RB20 turbo.
Yep.
5-speed. Mm-hmm. Could have drifted it right away.
And in comes the cameo.
Right.
Devin again.
Right. Which honestly, like, Devin doesn't have much to do with it. Like, basically, I traveled away for work.
Okay.
And Devin pulled the engine for me.
Okay.
And sold it. And then I got the RB25.
He pulled the engine.
He pulled the engine for me. Yeah, he pulled the engine for me. It was like one of those things where it's like, well, I need to make this happen because I had to pay for the new engine. I was like 19. So it's like, I got to pay for the new engine with the old engine money. It's like,
you were only 19 when you got the Skyline?
Yeah, it was like right after high school.
All these weird decisions that you made before 20.
It's funny because like I talked to Bernard, right? Bernard was at D-Max at the time. And I was telling him like, hey, like this is like the decision I'm faced with. Like I can get the Skyline, but I basically have to sell everything I own to pay for it. So I got to part out the 240, all the SR spare parts, like everything has to get parted out for me to be able to buy this car. And Bernard was like, no, don't do it. You're going to regret it.
And of course, dumbass Teddy.
And like, yeah, I did it. And guess what? I do kind of regret that.
Right.
Because it's like, the 240 was great. I could drive it to the track. Right. I would just like put an extra pair of wheels in the back, my tools, chairs, whatever.
Yeah.
Drive it to track, drift all day, and then drive it home.
Right.
And then like, it was easy. But now I've made it like difficult for myself because now I have to trailer it. Right. I can't take the car on the road because there's enough plates.
Right.
So it's like I can't, even if I fix something, I can't go test it.
Right.
I can't drive around the block.
Right.
Without the fear of like getting pulled over.
Yeah.
So it all kind of like sucks, And whatever. I mean, the car's definitely got cool factor.
Yeah.
But also it cost me 8 or 9 years of drifting with everybody because like.
Oh, because it took a lot of time to get it back on the road.
It took like 9 years to put the thing together. Once I like took the running RB20 out and wanted a 25 that ended up being a complete dud and had to get completely torn apart and put all back together. And like parts that weren't for an RB25, like mismatched alternator brackets and all this stuff I had to like source. And it was such a nightmare.
Right.
When it's like I had it running when I bought it, should have just left it.
Yeah.
RB20 is like perfectly fine. You can make I make
right, which is what
Albo Moon is RB20
exactly,
and he makes like 400 horsepower with it, and it's
plenty
like fine. Right. I don't even make 400 now with the 25.
Oh, and you just want it in that moment as a kid, you were like, no, this is what I'm doing.
I didn't like the intake going up over the valve cover. I was like, it's ugly, and I really want just the valve cover with no intake going over the top. It's stupid. Yes. Irrational.
You're stupid.
Irrational.
Absolutely.
RB20 would have been
crazy. You've been just fine.
Totally fine.
Just like Mark.
Yeah,
Mark
and I would have been drifting right away.
God.
But instead, I stopped drifting for like 8 years.
And you would have been just fine. It would have been just fine.
Would have been totally fine.
Oh,
stock
God. Yeah.
probably would have been as much power as an SR.
Oh, yeah, plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty. Yeah. Just a skill issue.
Between
the steering wheel and the seat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is it? A loose nut between the steering wheel and the seat. So I would say like that was definitely like a regret in terms of drifting because like I didn't do events for like 8 years. I think that's probably why I didn't make it to that Jimmy Up Tandem Invitational event and why Carl had to get that car spray painted because I didn't have a car to compete with at all.
Right. Well, that's probably why.
The red 240 wasn't really like I had 18s on it.
Right. It wasn't.
It just wasn't like, and I didn't have a welded diff on it.
Yeah, you couldn't like readily drift that thing.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I put 15s on it, it would have been fine.
Yeah, but it's your daily too.
Right. So I didn't want to ruin it, So it was like, so I'd say like that kind of sucked. Like if I just kept my 240, like it was already SR.
Right.
It's driving great.
Right.
So it was kind of a rash decision, I think.
And during all this time, you're getting into planes.
Yeah. which is a whole other expensive yet fun hobby.
Right, which is insane because the luck that you've had with your Skyline catching fire on track, things coming apart.
Okay, I will say though, there is like a reason for that happening and a reason that doesn't happen in the airplanes.
And what's that?
Because I actually work on the Skyline.
So you think you're the reason why the Skyline catches fire?
I don't work on the airplanes.
I see.
Yeah, you can't actually work on an airplane unless you're a certified mechanic.
Right.
So I can't, even if I own the plane, I still can't do my own work on it.
Interesting.
It has to be done by a certified mechanic.
That's
good.
It
gets written off in the logbooks for the airframe. So
Gotcha.
I can't just go and like, wonder what this thing does.
You know what's funny? That makes
out, you know, like
that's so funny because it reminds me of this video when we had Realize TV. You're under the car, and you're like, I think you're trying to take an axle out or the pumpkin or something, and you look at the camera and you're like, do you ever? I don't know what it was.
That rant.
You know how in your family, like people think like, oh, dude, like you've got this crazy like drifting car, like that's so cool. You must be so good at cars. No, I'm not, actually. I'm not good at cars. I suck at working on cars. I hate cars. I hate working on cars. Why do I even subject myself to this shit? I hate this hobby. Every time I work on my car, I want to get up out from underneath the car, cover it in kerosene, and light it on fire. That wasn't so bad.
I just want you to know that was heartfelt.
It was and then
heartfelt.
That thing went viral. That clip went viral.
It did. That was was like right in the very beginning of Realize TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing went viral.
Yeah.
That thing was nuts.
It was heartfelt.
It was nuts that it went.
I really do hate working on anything
and
mechanical.
it's a good thing that you're not working on planes on your own plane because that would be absolutely terrible.
It would fall out of the sky.
You would probably not be here right now.
The wings would rip off.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah. But luckily, I'm not legally allowed to do my own work.
Good.
Which is great because I don't want to.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so are you flying just for fun or? Because I see you flying with the other guys that were kind of in the drift scene as well.
So yeah, it's funny actually. Like
Derek
a bunch of
and
other
Kevin and
drift
Rodney.
people have gotten into flying. So it's been fun.
Is that the next move?
Kind of.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've been flying in formation, which is like literally like just tandem drifting in the sky.
You guys think you guys are the fucking Blue Angels or what?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude, it's super fun. Honestly, like, yeah, from a flying standpoint, it's like drifting. Like you're on the throttle the whole time, trying to like maintain your position with them and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so like it really does feel like drifting.
Right.
Like your eyes are locked on their plane.
Right.
And you're just like working the throttle, working the ailerons to like, you know, we're actually working the rudder to stay laterally separated from them. And it's just like tandem drifting. You're on someone's quarter panel.
You just can't hit them.
If you hit them, you die. You actually will die. You cannot hit them. That's the only thing. If you hit like airplanes are like tin cans. So like structurally they're like super strong until they hit something. And then they just crumple like paper.
Right.
Like
and on the way down, it's just going to be...
It's a long way down.
Oh, God.
Yeah, don't hit each other.
Have you ever had an oh shit moment up in the sky?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not really an oh shit moment. No.
Oh, okay.
There's like probably like I haven't had like an oh my God, I'm going to die moment.
Have you ever had to, I don't know, say Mayday?
My instructor did when I was learning one time.
Really?
And it wasn't, he thought we were having like an engine failure on takeoff. I suspect that, and we later thought that it would be icing that got into the carburetor. Because basically like, so all these older planes are carbureted and the way like they're bringing in the air, it's actually through a venturi. So the nozzle or the inlet to the carb actually gets thinner and smaller and then expands again. And it increases the velocity of the air going in. And while that happens, the air actually also gets colder and it can accumulate. It can basically create icing, even if it's like 70 degrees outside.
Okay.
So, that can happen even on like a hot summer day. You can still get carburetor icing and then it starts ingesting water. So the engine starts running rough. It'll drop like usual climb RPM. You'll be at like 2,500 RPM on fly with full power. Yeah. And it dropped to like 1,500 RPM, which is like almost no power. Oh. And so that was a Mayday call. But
as soon as you took off?
It was, we made it to like 1,000 feet or something. So we had the altitude to turn back. So he turned back and he landed backwards basically on the runway that we took off from.
Were you scared?
I wasn't scared because I kind of knew we had the runway made. So it wasn't like a huge deal. Luckily.
You just have to call back and say, yo.
Yeah, he called the tower and said like, Mayday, we're coming back. And they cleared the runways and we landed. It was all It was all fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have plenty of like that gets really tricky when it happens like right on takeoff. When you have like 100, 200 feet under you, like
right.
now you're in trouble.
Right.
Now you're landing on the freeway or something.
Or someone's
yard. Yeah. Ideally not someone's yard.
Fuck.
Yeah. But the freeway, even the freeway is not a good option. There's like power lines and stuff you got to watch out for.
Right.
You can't see. Easy to see when you're on the ground and you look up.
Yeah.
But when you're above them looking down,
and it's too late. You're not by the time you see it,
they're invisible.
They're in your propeller.
Correct.
Terrible.
Yeah, and they'll tear you up too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of videos now. Obviously, everyone has a camera now.
Right.
So many videos.
Yeah.
Of like crop planes, like crop dusting planes or whatever.
Like, it's funny because this comes up a lot, right? Is like, why is there so many aviation accidents?
Right.
But it's like there have always been this many accidents, but now it's just easier to see them. But like, how many accidents are there on the road that you don't see?
Exactly.
A lot.
Exactly.
A lot.
Exactly.
Because airplane accidents are sensationalized because it's like it makes the news. Oh, airplane crash. But it's like, dude, if you look at the statistics, there's way more like vehicle crashes that are deadly,
100%.
You know, than like airplane crashes.
For sure.
Like, you know, I think they say that flying an airplane,
it's still safer.
The safety statistic is like maybe equivalent to like a motorcycle.
What?
Like, it's they say that the safety equivalent, it's like not like driving a car. Like driving a car statistically is probably more safe, but they say that flying an airplane is statistically as safe as driving a motorcycle or riding a motorcycle.
Is riding a motorcycle safe?
I mean, it's safe unless like you get pulled out, someone pulls out like in front of you, like you know, on the road or something like that, right?
Oh, okay. I would just kind of feel like riding a motorcycle, the risk is higher.
Maybe.
Okay. We'll just assume that you don't know what you're talking about. Probably. I mean, you could be right. You could be right.
I mean, like there is a saying that like the most dangerous part of your flight is driving to the airport.
Right. So that makes sense. I've heard that before. That flying. Every time people get nervous about flying, like the statistic of airplane crashes is so low. Yeah,
and I mean, like the thing, it's like regulated, right? So engines, like you basically your airplane has to undergo an annual inspection every year. The airplane gets torn apart. They check compression in all the cylinders, all the spark plugs get replaced, and all this stuff. It's like it's a whole thing. Like the wings get taken apart to a certain degree, depending on the plane. They like inspect the wing spars and the landing gear and the seat tracks and like everything. Like an annual will take like a week. You know? And they really go through the whole airplane, which is why a lot of airplanes flying around are from the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
That sounds expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's definitely an expense, $2,000.
So it's hard to even own a plane on your own.
Right. Yeah, and then God forbid, that's like if the inspection goes well.
Smoother.
But sometimes they'll find something that has to get replaced. Right. But so it's like you have all that. So all these airplanes, they have overhauled engines all the time. Right. Probably like your biggest risk is like an engine failure. Okay. So, you know, the engines get checked all the time and you know, you get oil changes very frequently every 20 hours or so. And part of your pre-flight is you check the oil, you make sure there's enough oil in there. So it's like, how often do you check the oil before you like go drive your car? You know? Never. Yeah. So it's like there's definitely like safety measures in place for sure that makes aviation safe.
Gotcha. Yeah. Speaking of airplane accidents, do you remember where you were September 11th, 2001?
Yeah, actually, I do remember.
Do you really? Tell us about that.
Yeah. I was in my living room.
How old were you?
Well, 2001, I would have been 10, 5th grade.
Why weren't you in class?
It was before class.
Was it?
Yeah, it happened 9 a.m. It didn't happen 9 a.m. New York time. It was 6 a.m. our time.
Are you sure?
100%.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 100%. It was like 9 a.m.
So you were in your living room at 6 a.m.?
Well, I think my parents had the TV on or something, and we came and like watched.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we didn't go to school that day. Did you go to school that day?
I remember going.
Oh, really?
We watched it in the library. They had it on in the TV. Oh. Like we all gathered in the library.
That's crazy. I definitely wasn't at school yet. I saw it at home.
Oh. Yeah. Well, no, I remember seeing it at home as well. Okay.
But you went to school.
Well, I had school.
And you guys watched the story develop from the library.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go to class that day.
Yeah.
I think the school was like, no one come in today or whatever.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's weird that they would even, like back then, how did they get the word out? Because now I think parents get text messages and
maybe. Well, they did have all the parents' phone numbers, so I don't know if
imagine calling everyone's house phone.
Or maybe like we just didn't go. I just remember not going to school that day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Crazy.
And then, I remember just
that was a crazy day, man.
It was wild.
Super wild.
I mean, it's like I was 10. You were what? 11, 12? How much older are you than me? Well, I'm almost 34.
You're almost 34?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're about right.
Yeah.
Give or take.
So you were like 11 or 12. So it's like, did you fully understand the gravity of what was happening?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bilkins understood the gravity when they came crashing down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. fuck? Crazy.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that I get asked all the time about, what happened to Realize TV?
Why don't you tell me, Chuck?
Oh, me?
Oh, yeah. Why don't you inform the people?
Well, people already know.
Wow.
You're the slacker.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like that, huh? Well, you know,
It's not like it's not that. I mean, it's not that. It's a.
It was dude. It was unfortunate because we did that event, that last event, right, which was Final Bout.
That was during. That was like
during Final Bout.
When?
Yeah, during Final Bout, because I got the email that was like, you're not coming into work on Monday.
Right.
Yeah.
It was March
2020, and we jokingly were like, "Oh, this is the last video of the year," not knowing it was the last video.
Everyone jinxed everyone
ever
worldwide.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I remember I remember at work, they were like, we're gonna send you guys home with your computers. You maybe for 2 weeks. You just work
right.
from home.
Yeah. Just this little thing. Yeah, we just stayed home for 14 days.
Yeah.
But it was not 14 days.
It was.
So what sucked is that that was it, right? Parked the cars, and obviously for 2 weeks we didn't really know like what was going on.
Right.
We didn't really leave our place, you know. And after that, once work started back up in Hollywood, it was like first of all, we had to COVID test every single day before work.
Right.
And it was kind of like, if you tested positive for COVID, like you're out of a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was rough. And like, you know, my girl's work was like kind of the same thing, maybe even more extreme.
Right.
And so it was just like, well, can't really like go out and do anything.
Right.
Like,
well, what's crazy, obviously, a lot of it has to do with the media. The media scare.
For sure.
Insane.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, people definitely were dying.
They were.
100%.
They were. But
like, I mean, Ashley's like 23-year-old cousin died from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That actually happened. And then her aunt died from it. So it was like people are definitely dying.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, it was for sure like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's definitely probably the main reason why we just didn't see each other for a couple years.
Yeah, the cars got parked, and I mean, at the time, like no drift events were really happening anymore. It took like probably 9 months for the first event to kind of come back.
Yeah, and even then, that was like a socially distant drift event or whatever. It was almost weird. I think it was almost a year. Probably a year. And even now, there aren't events like there used to be.
No. There could be. I mean, they're coming back. There's like the Garage Speed events. Yeah,
I think Garage Speed is pretty cool.
And then like Loose Socks. So there's still some events, but
not at the frequency that it was at back then. Right. We could just pick a weekend and go, and we could make videos, content, constantly working on our cars. Right. And like, of course, like a lot of people ask us, but none of our shit was scripted. It was just we constantly working on cars, and just the bad luck that you bring along to the team. It was just right. I mean, I just couldn't believe all the bullshit that was happening to you.
Oh my God, I know this. I mean, you know, it's like the luck was brought by myself, right?
Yes. Yeah. The teal curse.
Really, it was just me.
The Teddy curse. It was
just me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But it was, it's just so funny how it's just a running joke.
Yeah.
You know, the whole time.
It's not really a joke though. It actually is a thing.
100%.
Yeah. Totally.
Whatever
a thing.
it is. Yeah.
Definitely cursed. Yeah. But you know, it was that. So the cars got parked, and then not much was really happening then. Like, you weren't really doing events. Gary had a kid.
Right.
And so he's not really doing anything.
Yeah, he still tinkers here and there, but not enough
he's
to
not
where...
really doing events. No. I'm not doing events. Right. My car's kind of just been parked and...
Right.
You know, and also like, it was like my car was braking every time.
Right.
Which started to take a toll on me a little bit. And
it's
like
tough,
changing axles in the pits every time. So I was
it's tough. You would trailer there and the first lap out, you just crack an axle.
You know, it's all funny and we're joking on the video, but really deep down inside, I'm like, I really wish this would stop happening.
You're just
though.
crying.
Like,
because it was just constantly
great content.
Yeah.
But really
and your car would actually catch on fire, which is insane. Twice. That's tough.
Yeah. But the second time was definitely my fault.
Was it?
100%.
So you scripted it?
No. I didn't know it was my fault till remember because we removed the turbo. I was like, that's why it's catching on fire. The oil return line is not connected to anything. It's just dumping like the oil return straight onto the manifold. Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that that's the reason that it caught fire, so I didn't even think to look.
Right.
But really, I should have disassembled everything.
Right.
I thought the oil feed line was loose, so I retightened that. I was like, okay, great. But yeah, no, that was
already tight the
entire oil return line was just like not connected to anything at all.
God.
So that was kind of like the reason that it sort of ended, I guess. Like, it was. I would say definitely like terrible luck with COVID, which was kind of the catalyst to it. Mm-hmm. But in the end, like it's like we're not doing as many events. We were doing like an event every 2 weeks.
And it's so strange how in the 3 years, give or take, during the whole like COVID thing, from the moment it started to where like the world was finally like open back, let's say 3 years. In that time, a lot happened too.
Yeah.
You know, where, like Gary had a kid and,
you bought a house.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where like different things in life happen in lieu of people being able to get together as friends or whatever,
Right.
And it's not to say that we don't drift together anymore, but we haven't really. And not since the last, maybe it was a Jimmy Up event.
Jimmy Up, which is kind of now the one event that I really make an effort to push for, because it's like the one where all the friends are at, and the one I want to see everybody at.
Exactly.
Otherwise, like, I don't really know anybody at these events. So it's like,
and there's so many drifters now, which that's cool.
Yeah.
I love it. And comes more new. It comes new hosts.
Yeah.
And totally open to that. And that's cool, I think.
For sure. I guess I just like, I show up awkward. I don't know anybody. I'm like the new kid in school, even though I'm like not the new kid because I'm the old kid.
Ass kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I guess, I don't know. A lot of people are asking if, maybe we would make an episode here or there.
I'm not opposed to it,
Me
but
either.
it's like I'm not pushing for it, I guess, either.
Yeah.
But I mean,
because none of us are working on, like, there's no content.
There's no content. There's no content to film. My car is buried in my shop right now. I drove it from Jimmy Up last year to my shop
and parked it.
Back the trailer into the shop with the car on it. Haven't touched it.
That's
since.
it.
It's been a year.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at it.
Jimmy Up is coming up in September something.
It is coming up, and I want to drive it, but I smashed my front bumper into pieces, so I don't have a front bumper anymore.
Oh, I see.
So part of me doesn't want to drive without a bumper.
But also, like, no, forget that.
Just drive without a bumper?
Yeah.
Oh, the car's so ugly without the bumper.
You're so ugly without a
Thank
bumper.
you. I appreciate that.
No, but I mean, it's like, you don't really need one.
I could, but it's just so ugly.
I get it, but it's not, it's fine.
The car doesn't need much. Last time, I don't know if you were around last time, I warmed the car up in the pits before my first run group.
Mm-hmm.
And it warmed up for, 5-10 minutes. I got in the car and my water temp was pegged.
No way.
Pegged. Full blinking warning light.
Oh.
Shut the car off. Well, it turns out there was no water in the radiator. It was empty.
Dude.
Why was it empty?
Because you worked on the car.
I didn't work on it. I didn't touch it at all. I just drove it at Jimmy Up the year before. And then
where did the water go?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Oh, so you don't check fluids at all between...
Why would I? It's not like I emptied the fluids. Why wouldn't they still be there? There was nothing in there. It was dry.
Dry as a bone.
It was bone dry. Yeah.
Holy
So
moly.
I actually have to go like bleed it now. And the best part is now it's all rusty water in there. So probably my engine's toast.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you'll be fine.
Because I haven't drained it since then.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah. And it needs an axle. I for sure broke an axle.
Of course it needs an axle.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, I have to get an OEM one. See, I already don't want to do it.
You have a Z33?
Z33 OEM axles.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be the fix.
I can't
had
believe
AutoZone ones, which Gary runs
still...
fine.
I don't understand how you're still breaking Z33 axles.
Probably have to raise the car again.
But is that what it is?
I don't know what it is.
Plenty of
That's
people
the
are that
problem.
low.
I know, but this is like a sedan, and the wheel wells don't really clear. I have burn marks inside the wheel well.
100% thought that you going back to this 13 subframe was going to fix it.
It's still the 14 subframe.
Oh, it is?
Never switched it back.
Oh,
I don't have a 13
okay.
subframe, so I have to locate one.
Oh, gotcha.
It's too much work.
It may or may not fix it either.
It may or may not fix it.
I remember that was
Some
a
people
big
said
thing.
it won't fix it.
Yeah.
I have the axle spacers. So theoretically it's supposed to like fix that gap that this
Like the
S14
binding,
subframe could be
Oh, I see.
causing.
Yeah.
Because the spacer's like
Yeah.
that thick or something.
But still not. It's still breaking.
Yeah, and then I was running AutoZone ones, which Gary runs and is fine. So then they're
Right.
like, oh, why don't you get OEM ones?
Yeah.
Repack the grease, new boot. So I did that and it still broke.
Oh, jeez. That's
And
crazy.
those ones are expensive,
Yeah.
It's like, man, I just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to keep doing it. This is also why like I don't drive because it's like I
Right.
just have to replace an axle every time.
Right. Yeah.
The
Why
cost-
why even do it?
It's annoying. The cost adds up. I gotta work
Right.
on the car. I hate changing
And you
axles.
gotta do
It's
it
such
at
a
the
pain
track.
in the butt
Yeah.
because you gotta like loosen them, spin the
Right,
axle, e-brake, loosen.
Yeah.
them.
Right.
It just sucks.
Yeah.
It's so tedious.
God. Well, I mean, if anyone has anything to say about that, maybe a pointer.
Oh,
Sick.
tight.
Get
Do
the
they
fuck
die?
out. No. There's... Sorry about that.
Skyline.
Just,
Welcome back. Welcome back to Realize TV.
Technical difficulties. Yeah. Welcome back to Realize TV.
Right.
Anyways, we're talking about your car catching fire all the time, and
all the time, only twice.
That's all the time.
That's
I can't remember the last time
I
my
say
car
all the
caught
time.
fire.
I think all the time is 3 times.
Oh, okay.
I think twice is still like catches fire sometimes.
So you think that it's just not going to catch fire a third time?
I don't think it'll catch fire again.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will. Time will tell.
We'll see.
Yeah.
On the next episode of Realize TV. So we'll see. Maybe we'll do one for Jimmy Up. I don't even know. Maybe I don't know when this thing's gonna air, but
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I brought a GoPro last time, but I just got like runs. I don't even think I really tandem last time.
Right.
I might have done a couple tandem runs,
maybe.
But
yeah.
I was also trying last time. I was really working on doing the whole thing in 3rd gear.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't want to be with anybody else because I was still messing it up.
Right. But, gotcha. Well, maybe we'll try it again this time.
The 3rd gear thing is pretty great though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the move at horse.
Definitely the move. No more e-brake.
Yeah, depending on your gearing. Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And also just not, chompsing it up the whole way down the whole way down HTM.
Yeah, because your car is aggressive when it does. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't believe
constant.
I can't believe I haven't blown the engine yet.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That thing's
just
just
like,
constantly
banging that limiter.
No.
And I don't have like the oil return that all RB25 guys do where they pull out one of the plugs and run the oil. I don't have that. So technically like all the oil pools up in the head and like empties out the sump, and then like, the
you just got to run
like
a little extra oil.
Yeah, I do run extra oil.
Yes,
I run it 1 quart or like half a quart. I think
over.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
But yeah,
crazy.
So I didn't really tandem last time just because I was trying to get the 3rd gear thing down. Which I mean, it's still not great, but got it mostly down. The downshift is tough.
Right, especially right hand drive. Yeah. You barely have 2 brain cells to rub together, so. How can you switch sides on a car and learn how to drift it?
Right.
God,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Oh. Okay. Well, I guess stay tuned for another episode of Realize TV.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Maybe.
Maybe we can get back to some Fridays.
Maybe 1 Friday a year.
1 Friday a year.
It could be like a video magazine where it's like, compile.
Well, let's say more, let's say like Loose Socks or Sneaky Kids or Jimmy Up, Mikey throws 2 events a year. That would mean more something. Because then we would have to get our cars ready, and that creates content.
Right. Do you remember how Realize TV first was? It actually kind of was like a video magazine because it was actually multiple episodes compiled into one video. You remember that?
I don't remember that.
So the very first episode was actually we all individually filmed what we were up to, and then it got compiled into one video.
Oh, that's
remember
right.
That?
Yeah.
Because we were all kind of up to different things.
Right.
And it was kind of like, hey, film what you're up to.
Right.
Send the footage over.
Right.
So it was like, you were getting your car maybe painted at the time.
Right.
And I think John was up to something at Jason's, and then I was up to something. And it was just like a bunch of little micro episodes that were like put into one video.
Yeah.
Could be like Realize Video Magazine, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of like the dynamic of, I almost feel like people don't really care too much about the car thing. I mean, yes, they tune in to watch the drifting, sure. Right. But the raw footage of the drifting were never the videos that did well.
No,
it's the dynamic of the people and the team and whatever and all the bullshit that you bring to the table.
It's just bad. I can't stand being around you for more than an hour anymore. So.
I know, that's why we're gonna cut this off soon.
Exactly.
This is
already been
garbage.
Too long.
I don't even know if I'm gonna air this because you suck.
I've been signaling my manager behind you. To cut this shit.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Well, I mean. Okay. Let's switch gears for a second. If you were to
be a worm, what kind of worm would you be?
Tell me.
So I was thinking I only know earthworms, so that's really the only answer I can give you.
You'd be Earthworm Teddy.
I would just be Earthworm. Not Earthworm Jim, but Earthworm Teddy.
Earthworm Teddy, yeah. Yep.
That's it.
Crazy.
Yep. And that's my answer. Okay, now ask me what you're really
I think I was going to ask you if you were to walk into a room full of people that all the people that you have ever met, who is the first person that you look for? Bang. Dead or alive?
It's tough. Probably look for my grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your mom's mom?
My mom's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was really cool. And unfortunately, like she lived in France and I couldn't be there when she passed away. And so it's like it'd be nice to see her again.
Right.
Same with my grandpa, her husband, I haven't
You have a lot of memories with them?
I do actually. Because my mom would like send me out to France every summer for my summers and it would be with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents would stay in the US and work and do whatever.
Right.
And then I'd go to grandpa and grandma's house. All my cousins would too. So like they actually got a handful. They got all the cousins.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all my cousins, we'd be at their house for the summer basically.
Damn.
So it was cool.
It's crazy. It's crazy how many parties we used to have at your mom's house.
Yes.
Back then.
Right.
It was insane.
Yeah. It was a lot.
It was nuts.
Yeah. She just didn't mind hosting them. I think that my mom was also kind of like, if we were going to like get crazy and party, she'd rather be able to supervise.
Right.
Rather than me being out at someone's house and just like,
right.
Going crazy and driving drunk or something.
Yeah.
Like now I'm at home.
Yeah.
Can't drive drunk.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, she was down to host. The neighbors definitely hated her.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure hated her.
Yeah. It was crazy how many.
But that was like the gathering spot. I don't know. Like all of 626 Drift would like,
Yeah.
we'd all just party and,
Yeah.
it's like a house party.
Uh-huh.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we had the fair share of parties at your place too. That blue house.
Oh, back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That corner house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That time you broke your hand on
Yeah.
Devin's face.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
Yeah. That was a crazy day. Yeah. Did the doorbell.
He put it between his. It was one
So
of
you
the
had-
detachable.
It was one of the it was a new thing at the time where you have the doorbell on the front and then you have a wireless battery operated
Right.
bell
Right.
in the house.
Right.
And you had already had a rough day that day, and you were having like girl problems or something like that. And
It was
then,
my birthday, right?
It was your
party.
birthday.
Yeah.
And then like you were already kind of upset about something else, and then someone had the doorbell thing that they had hid somewhere, and Devin had the clicker
Right.
hidden.
No, the speaker for the doorbell was in the refrigerator.
In the fridge.
Yes.
And Devin had the
clicker
button.
Yes.
In his knee.
And he
Like-
had his legs crossed.
And he had his legs crossed, and he would
Right.
just squeeze his legs and ring the doorbell.
Right.
And you were just like, "Where's that fucking sound coming from?
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill whoever is
Yeah.
doing it." And then you found out it was Devin, and you just like sort of whomping on his face.
And I literally, I fractured my.
You did actually break your hand.
Yeah.
You did actually break your hand.
Yeah, that
And
was
then the best
crazy.
part was Devin was like, "That didn't even hurt."
That was crazy. That's crazy. Devin is a recurring character and
I love
everything.
Devin.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Lots of parties at your place too.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah.
It was back in the day. We should throw another one
Let's do it.
and invite everybody
That would be great, actually.
in the comment section.
Yep. Yeah. Bring the whole gang back together.
That'd be great.
Mark, Carl.
Oh, and
Cody.
we would do it at Jimmy's house too for my birthday. Do you remember that
Oh, yeah, I
one photo
remember.
we took? That was a crazy photo with all these. There was like
Was that,
mostly 626 Drift guys and everyone that.
For your birthday or for
I
Halloween?
think it was for my birthday, and it was like. It was coworkers I had at the time, like friends outside of cars and 626 Drift and blah blah. Eric Castro was there.
The best party that I remember was obviously the one at Gary's dad's house with the hardcore band.
Oh,
in the
that was
back.
my 21st
Yeah, that was
birthday.
great.
A whole
That
ass
was a
hardcore
great
band.
party.
And Chomps, rest in
Chomps
peace.
on the ground.
His knee was fucked.
I was
Something
like, Chomps,
happened.
get up, man. You're going to get trouble. Oh, I'm okay, man. Just leave me here. Yeah.
And like Carl was like moshing.
Yeah.
And it was nuts.
Castro was spitting beer on people. He was just
That
like
was-
refilling and just spitting beer all over
was
everybody.
insane.
That was an insane party.
Oh God, I almost forgot about.
God, that was a great party.
Maybe we'll
for
find
sure.
some pictures and we'll see if we
There,
can toss
there are
it.
for sure pictures out there of that party.
Crazy.
That was great.
That was insane.
Yeah.
That was nuts. Wow.
Yeah. Where
That
you
really-
you came to my 18th birthday, I think, right at my
Yeah,
place. That one was
yeah.
a crazy
And
one.
also at one of those parties is when that SR20 hatch that you were talking about that your dad got for you, that's where we pulled the SR out.
Dude, so that was funny because that was one of those parties. That was actually my mom's birthday party.
Was it
It
really?
was my mom's birthday. And, my mom, like, she loved 626 Drift, so she invited everybody from 626 Drift.
yeah.
Ryota, at the time,
Uh-huh.
had this guy who I think either they were friends or I don't know what, was in town from the Bay. And they, Ryota, like, he was like, "Oh, can they come through?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem, whatever." And like, "Oh, what's up with this thing?" And I was like, "Oh, well, one of these days I want to pull the engine out of this
Yeah.
and put it into this." And he was like, "Why wait? Let's do it right now." He's like, I can get the engine out in like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like,
sure enough, it was out.
It was out. He did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, sure, free labor. All right, let's do it.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Let's do it. Prove me wrong. Yeah. And he did it. He pulled it out in like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
During my mom's party.
Yeah.
Where I was like caked in grease.
Yeah.
It was like my mom's birthday.
Yeah, I remember it was like Jason Kim, John Chow,
Yeah.
like everyone was there,
Yeah.
like just helping just a little bit,
Right.
like do this, do that.
Right.
And
He was doing all the work.
Crazy. Yeah. Damn.
I feel bad I did it for my mom's birthday, but how could I say no? He said,
But also, it was
like,
and it was only an hour out at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually very impressive how fast he got it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this was back in the day when I had just met Gary, and he's the one that helped me do my swap back in the day.
Yeah.
And the first time we got the SR, and obviously that took a while because I was just a kid too. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing,
Right.
but I pulled the single cam and put the SR in, and
Yeah.
you know. But the second, I think there was like a second or third time that me and Gary did it together, and we just had. I remember he has a photo of all the tools, the only tools that we used to do the swap plus the cherry picker, and I think he still has it.
pliers.
Yeah, I think he still has that photo where he just took a picture of all the tools, and we did it in like an hour.
Yeah.
You know, at that point we had done it a lot
Right.
in his car and my car, so
Right.
we were like, okay, well, it's probably easy. And sure enough, once you get
not
into
that hard.
it, yeah,
Fuel lines, wire harness.
yeah, exactly. And once you get all the little wiring and the like you said, the wire harness and all the intercooler piping out, it's really ready to go.
Not that bad.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. That would be a great realized TV episode.
Yeah. Or how fast can you pull an SR out of a car?
Oil all over the floor. That was like a recurring theme too.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
Yeah. I recently rewatched the one where Jay is doing Gary's power steering fluid. and he has the bottle. And I'm so sad because I watched it happen with my eyes, but I didn't get it on film.
Yeah.
But him kicking the bottle over, all the power steering fluid going all over the driveway.
Yeah. Oh man, that
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, and you let it happen.
Of course.
You let
it's
it
content.
happen. Oh my
It's
God.
content. Of course you're going to let it happen.
Not scripted, but you let it happen.
You let it happen because
why?
it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, you're like paparazzi.
You know, it's like that meme of the stop sign in the bushes. You know, it's like when your friends are going to do something stupid, but you kind of want to see what happens. Yeah. It's like that's kind of what real-life TV was. It's like when you see me doing something stupid and you're filming, you weren't going to stop me from doing that dumb thing. You're just going to let me do it.
When you're like constantly trying to take an oil filter off and you're just righty-tighty, thinking you're going to loosen it.
Yep. That wasn't me, though.
No, that wasn't you.
That wasn't me.
Oh, fuck.
It's funny because that video, that maybe I don't know if this goes off the record. That was the first video where I talked from behind the camera. Because every video before that was just like...
Oh, you're like this.
No. I was actually just filming it, like documenting what was happening. But whoever was doing the video was presenting to the camera. And it was during that video where I was like, I think you're spinning the filter the wrong way. Yeah. That was the first time I actually spoke from behind the camera.
And I think that's what helped a lot to have that third person.
Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of what it...
That made it.
Yeah, what made it become what it was.
That was the recipe, yeah. That's great.
Yeah. The sarcastic comments from behind the camera.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So good. And I haven't watched any of those episodes probably since COVID because, and I've got to go back and watch some because I think now it's like you can watch it and be like, oh, I totally forgot that we did that.
I've gone back and watched and I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about this. And it's like hilarious. You know? Yeah.
God. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully, maybe we can have you back for a second one.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't really like you that much.
Me neither.
No.
I hope you don't call me back.
I won't.
I hope this is the last time.
No, I've actually lost your number. That's why I have to DM you on Instagram.
Wow. That's actually the reason.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I don't know. I guess one last question before you go. If you had to give your 15-year-old self a piece of advice, what would you tell him?
Definitely buy all the Charizards you can now and then sell them later for like, $200,000 a piece.
That's crazy. I saw. Is that how much they're going for?
Yeah, it's funny because I only say that as my advice because like Billy and I were talking. Billy has a Charizard. And we were just like, dang, if only we had known when we were young.
He has a Charizard?
He has a Charizard. It's not the big the $200,000 Charizard is the first edition Charizard. It's hard to get. Most people have the base set, which is not the first edition.
How much is that?
That's what Billy has. I saw one at Comic-Con for sale for $500.
Oh, okay.
It's not nothing.
That's
but
a huge difference.
Yeah,
500
the
and
first
200,000?
edition one is like that's the big money one.
Why? Because there's so little. There's so few.
There's so few because first edition, basically like when Pokemon came out, they it was just the Game Boy game first, right? And like they didn't know how a trading card game was going to do, so they put out a very limited first edition run out.
It's like a baseball player's rookie card.
Right, exactly. And when it blew up, then they released the unlimited version. So Billy has an unlimited one.
I see.
So if you get a first edition one, that's why it's worth so much money.
Right.
So
crazy.
that would be because it's like.
But I saw actually, now that you bring that up, I saw on your Instagram story a few days ago that you went to like a maybe Comic-Con or something.
I went to Comic-Con.
Did you buy Pokemon
I
cards?
bought Pokemon cards there. I actually went looking for Pokemon cards there.
Specifically certain ones, or?
Yeah, because I decided like I wanted to finish my my Pokemon sets.
Okay.
Because, you know, I'm kind of like...
I saw that you were holding one that had like $100 price tag on it.
That was the Venusaur, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you paid $100
I paid $100 for it.
Okay.
It's the holographic. It's from the base set, so it's the first set that ever came out. Not first edition, but the first set that came out.
Then you did that just to finish your thing, or you know that maybe that you're hoping that that's going to be an investment?
It'll go up, honestly. Like, I think all the it's like those cards are from 99. It's like they're only going to go up in price. Like, the longer we go, the more they're going to get destroyed and stuff like that, right? And then the ones that are like really being kept safe are the ones that'll remain. I mean, who knows? Like Pokemon, maybe it'll be like Beanie Babies in 50 years and it'll be worthless. But I kind of don't think so.
We'll see.
It's been around for this long.
Yeah.
I mean, like today I saw some like 8-year-olds that were like playing Pokemon, so I think it's here to stay.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, interesting.
Like the youth is still playing it.
Okay.
So. Yeah. Kind of. I was like, I want to like buy the Pokemon cards I didn't have. Of course, now like they're super expensive.
Right.
When we were opening packs when we were kids, we were buying the pack for like $3.
Right, from the ice cream truck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally got them from the ice cream truck all the time.
Yeah. 100%. So your one piece of advice to your 15-year-old self would be to get the first edition Charizard and don't drop off your Datsun 510 in the middle of the night at some person's house and drop the keys. Nothing like that.
I'm just saying that if I had like a bunch of those Charizards, we're talking like millions of dollars.
Right.
Yeah. You could also buy Bitcoin. That would also be another one for your 15-year-old self.
That's true. That'd be great too.
Yeah. Okay. That'd probably be actually more money than the Charizards.
Yeah.
But the Charizards give you street credit.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Do you? Street cred from who?
I don't know. People that I think are cool that are probably not cool.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your life is based around money. You're just trying to make money that you actually weren't able to.
I mean, I'm just saying I could buy some sick airplanes if I had money.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a better drift car.
Totally.
Probably whatever I buy will catch fire. So I don't know if it really makes a big difference.
Yep.
Yeah.
Insert Teddy fire drift joke comment below.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. So I would buy as many Charizards as possible as a kid.
Gotcha.
That's my life advice to myself.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we go, is there anything that you'd like to plug or promote for yourself?
You know, I've got I've started posting flying content. I don't know if anybody's really into that.
Probably not, but what is it?
You know, it's just on my personal channel, S13 Teddy on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't start a whole new thing.
No, I just started putting it out on that channel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. Just flying content.
At S13 Teddy.
Yeah, youtube.com/.
S13 Teddy.
S13 Teddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? Bill is your
that's
your
our
little brother.
That's our DJ name.
I know.
Yeah.
That's your little brother.
Yeah.
You just started saying like names with like people know your life. Billy's your little brother.
Billy's my little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are literally Bill and Ted. Yeah. So our DJ name was Excellent Adventure because of the obvious 90s hit movie.
With Keanu Reeves.
And
the other guy with the blonde hair. Yeah. No one knows that guy's name.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah.
Do you guys still do DJing?
Separately. We don't do it because it was easy when we lived together. We could put together like DJ sets and stuff. But now we don't live together, so we still do DJ, just separately.
Okay, like actual DJing, like you go to parties and.
Totally.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah, we played some clubs back in the day, but not really anymore.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
It's a kind of a crazy thing.
Okay.
You know that to play a club, you as the DJ have to pay them.
You do?
Yeah.
Just so you can get your name out there?
Correct.
Oh, so it's
because
not like
promoters now they don't really promote. They actually put the event together, and then anybody that wants to play has to pay.
Just because. Oh, that's crazy.
So there was a club night that I was playing like the side room or whatever, which was fine. I just want to play the side room, and they're like, "Well, you could play the main stage if you give us $1,000. You can do the opening act."
Fuck.
There's no one there when you're doing the opening act. You're playing to an empty room.
You still have to.
Right. And so their logic is like, yeah, but like basically we'll sell you the slot for $1,000, and if you sell 3 tables, you'll make your money back.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's crazy.
It's awful.
Scam.
It is. It's a terrible. Yeah. You know, I got into it because I was like, oh well, maybe I can have like a side gig on Saturday nights, like playing at clubs or whatever. And it's like, oh no, actually you'll lose money by doing it. Yeah,
like you have to pay to.
You have to pay them to do it. That's crazy. I don't think they're all like that, but especially like in EDM and stuff like that, everyone's like trying to be the next big producer or whatever. So yeah, they make you pay.
Crazy.
You got to sell the tickets to pay yourself back.
Dang.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing about Realized TV was that we had the outros.
Oh.
Never had them down.
No, they were different every time.
Different every time.
Yeah.
So maybe for this episode, you can send us out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just look into this camera right here.
Thanks. Well, you guys. I should make sure it's still rolling. I don't know. I can see the red light. Well, guys, thanks for watching and listening. And make sure you smash that smash button, like that subscribe button, hit that post notification bell, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the All Luck No Skill podcast. All Luck No Skill is produced and edited by VBG Solutions. Logo design and illustration by Mirage Native. Theme song is Let's Ride by White Hot. You can watch video episodes of All Luck No Skill at youtube.com/JunkyPoo. Pretzel.
Just got to give it that hawk
Tua.